Hi folks, my name's Luke, I'm from Radford Creations and welcome back to my workshop. So I've just been sitting here carrying on with R2, getting it all welded together. It's starting to look alright. It's going to take a very long time, but that's for me to worry about. So today we're going to be talking getting started in blacksmithing, and we're going to be talking about your workshop or your workspace. So I'm going to do a quick tour of my little workshop and tell you how it all come about. There's going to be some pictures thrown in of it being built and how it looked when it was first finished and how it looks now, etc. I mean, I've been using this workshop for a couple of years now, so things are starting to get worn out or need replacing, but she does the job, and I just wanted to sort of show you some techniques that I've used and I've found for saving space, and I mean, just show you what I do and hopefully help you sort your own stuff out. So yeah, let's get going, guys. Right then folks, this is the outside of my workshop. So when I decided I want to do blacksmithing after I did my experience day, I designed this myself, and I spoke to a guy who lives local, who builds and outdoor sheds and workshops and stuff like that, and he built it all for me, and yeah, it definitely does the job. It's held up well over the years. It wasn't too expensive to build. I mean, I think it cost close to £1,000 to build. I mean, obviously you don't need that. This is just what I had available at the time. I sold some stuff and I managed to get the money together to get it all built. I purposely made it open all here, obviously for ventilation. What I do, it gets very hot. There's a lot of fumes. There's a lot of all sorts of stuff, and as you can see all the way around the outside, I made sure he left a gap so stuff can vent out as and when it needs to. It keeps it can get still quite hot in there, but it definitely does the job of keeping it cool. A lot of people are worried about the security of my workshop, but I've never had anything go wrong. All my tools are locked up inside. So yeah, I mean, I've never had any problems, to be honest. Let's have a quick look. I'm sorry for the shaky camera work, guys. So yeah, obviously this is where we were just sat. This is my workbench. So this workbench here I actually got for free. My dad found it behind his work, and it's a fantastic little workbench. It's not as flat as I would like, and it has caused some problems when I've been trying to make legs for things, and I'm making it on a slightly bowed surface without realising, but now I know that, I know to compensate for it. But yeah, awesome little metal workbench, fantastic for sitting at and doing your welding. Yeah, a workbench is always fantastic, these metal ones especially for blacksmithing, because you've got my wooden workbench over here. That's fantastic. I mean, I do love it, but when you're blacksmithing, sometimes you've got to put your work pieces down. You don't want to put it down on a wooden surface because it will just burn, set fire to it, etc. These metal workbenches are fantastic for your blacksmiths. So yeah, a little metal workbench is awesome for your workspace. So yeah, there's the forge in the corner. We've showed you this before. That's my lighting in the corner so I can work at night and stuff like that. But yeah, this is my forge and my forge table. I built the forge table. As you can see, I made the top out of wood, which is a massive mistake, which I'm still yet to rectify. I've actually got a big sheet of aluminium that I'm going to replace the top with here. I thought I was being very smart and cost effective, but the heat is bowing it, and obviously the weight of the forge and the bricks and all that stuff is all starting to bow. It still holds up though, does a good job. Obviously the propane tank underneath, and the whole thing's on wheels. So what I do is I pull this out and I put it into the entrance of the workshop over here, and I'm able to use it, and then when I'm done with it I stick it back in the corner. Good time, space saving little tip there. Make sure your forge is on wheels, because also you might want to work outside, you might want to work in different places. If you fix your forge down, you're beholden to where your forge is. You want to get from forge to anvil as quickly as possible before you lose your heat. So you can't have your anvil miles away. So if your forge is on wheels, you can put it wherever you like. If you bolt it to the floor, you're sort of stuck where that is. So anvil sits in the middle here. So plenty of space around your anvil, guys. That's exactly what you're going to need. You need to sort of, especially when you're getting started, you need to figure out exactly where you like to stand, which side you like to stand on. Obviously different parts of the anvil means you need to be standing in different areas. So yeah, another thing about your workspace, guys, is my anvil sits on a concrete block which used to have a shed on it, which is probably the ideal thing that what you want to do, because obviously as you strike the anvil, the shot goes down through the base, especially like a steel base like this, and it can crack your tiles and stuff and your slabs and stuff, guys. So just be wary of that when you're setting your anvil up and stuff. There are ways to mitigate it, but yeah, best case scenario is it sits on a little bit of concrete. If you haven't got that, don't think that you 100% need that, but yeah. So obviously more hammers and tongs and flatters and pokers and wire brushes, all sorts of stuff. That tube there is full of ferric chloride, which I use for etching knife blades and stuff like that. A little unfinished project in the corner I made for my dog when she sadly passed last year. So yeah, this is the main workbench. I built this workbench as well. Yeah, it was a pretty simple thing. Me and my wife just put it all together. It's an MDF top. Again, this top's starting to bow a little bit in certain places. I probably needed a thicker one. I think it's about 18mm. But obviously, like when I first started, I had a voice, and that was pretty much it. And then obviously now I've got, I mean, this is the 2x72 belt sander's got a 3 horsepower motor on it, and it takes 2 people to lift it pretty much. And obviously the big bench grinder and stuff like that. Drill press. Don't think about you need all this stuff straight away. The only thing I might suggest that you get first off before getting started, but it's not 100% essential, is a vise. This is a very big vise I've got here. It was actually given to me. It actually belonged to my granddad. So I'm more than happy to keep using it and to keep on you know, using it throughout the future and stuff like that. I mean, I love using old tools, and especially when it belongs to members of my family. So yeah, over here is exactly where that's where you see me filming a lot of the times. Bucket of metal that people keep giving me. Old belt grinder that I keep meaning to chuck away. A little tool rack in the corner where I just keep spanners, pliers, monkey wrenches, and then over the end is some nuts, bolts and screws and stuff that I acquire. Always good to keep hold of those, guys. Just chuck them in a little tub somewhere, they'll become useful eventually. Yeah, so belts for the 72 sander, grinding discs. So this is another thing I'd suggest you get this rack in here. I think it cost me about 20 something pounds on eBay, and invaluable for just getting stuff stored. And yeah, it's just a fantastic little bit of kit. It can hold so much weight. I mean, it looks a complete mess, but I know where everything is. And that's all that matters in your workshop, as long as you know where everything is. And then I've got my little lock away cabin here where I keep my tools, angle grinders, punches, drill bits. That at the top there is a electro etching machine that my brother made me. He's an electrical engineer. Other bits and bobs you accrue over the years. Some more stuff down there, but don't worry about that. So yeah, guys, nice little workshop really. I mean, I am starting to outgrow it. I said last time I'm looking at getting the unit sometime next year. But for now, this is fantastic. And I mean, obviously, if you've got the means to do this, then it's a fantastic way to start. I was very lucky. I had a lot of help from people. So yeah. So let's set the camera back down and we'll talk about how you can get started. Right then, folks, so as we spoke last time, one of the first things and one of the hardest things to overcome is getting your own workspace. Like I've already explained, this is how I've got mine. I'm lucky to have a big garden, neighbours who are happy, but I'll completely reiterate this from the first video, is this is not something you can do in your kitchen or your front room. This is, you can't have a forge go in your bedroom. This needs to be outside, well ventilated, or if you're inside, it needs to be a purpose-built sort of workshop like mine, or a proper industrial type unit. Remember, we're dealing with fire, extreme levels of heat, so you want to keep your forge and stuff away from stuff that's flammable. So if you've got a wooden shed and you want to be doing it outside, don't put your forge right next to your shed. Make sure your anvil's sitting on level, flat ground. You can forge on grass and stuff like that. Some people do. I've seen it done. You need to make sure it's level and flat. Otherwise, your anvil's going to be off. Your work's going to be off. So yeah, guys. If you're planning on doing it in your back garden, remember the tips about slabs and stuff like that. You know, I mean, I've cracked quite a few slabs in here. You're always going to crack them. Make sure if you you know, if you've got wife, kids, mum, dad, whoever, that they understand that things might get broken, things are going to get damaged, and things will 100% get dirty. So yeah, other options you've got, I said we spoke about them last time, is you can go and get, if you've got the money, I'd recommend go and get yourself a unit, anywhere from £200 a month upwards. Some people just have the money to go straight to that sort of thing. I'm building my way up to it. I'm working my way up to that. That's the perfect case scenario. That is like purpose-built, secure area where you can go put everything you want into it, even bigger pieces of machinery and stuff like that. There are these maker spaces that are popping up all over the place. I think there's some in I live in the West Midlands. I think there's some in Digbeth in Birmingham, where people get these big areas and they rent them out to individual makers, different types of artists, woodworkers, metal workers, etc. And they just give you like your corner or your little room. And then the whole point is that you sort of pitch in with everyone, and you know, oh, can I borrow your tool and you can borrow mine, etc., etc. They're always really good. I mean, I've never been in one, but it sounds like a good idea. I don't know how readily available they are in this country though, but most people get started in their back gardens. Most people get started or in a garage or something like that. Garages are perfect as well. I said just make sure that the whole flammable issue is what you need to be thinking of. Don't have oily rags hanging around. Don't have you know, wooden structures sitting right next to your forge and stuff like that. So yeah, guys, there's not much I can say to this, to be honest. This is the thing that you need to overcome, and you need to figure out where you're going to do it. I said you don't need a lot of space to get started. My workshop's quite big, so it's about 20 foot by 14 foot, and you I mean, like, you probably only need maybe 8 by 8 foot if you're going to be a more traditional blacksmith. I'm not necessarily a traditional blacksmith by any means. I do lots of different things. I do lots of welding, I do woodwork, I do all sorts of stuff. The thing I wanted from Radford Creations was that we will make anything out of anything. Like, I've done stuff out of epoxy and plastics and stuff as well. But blacksmithing is where my passion started, and this is why I want people to get into blacksmithing more. But the point of all this is you need to just get started. That's what you need to do. You need to just get what you need just to get going. When I first started, there's a step over there, and I didn't have a workbench, I didn't have a workshop. I literally had brought an angle grinder for £35 from B&Q, and I started angle grinding what became my anvil out just on that step over there, because I didn't have a workbench, I didn't have anything to work on, and I found the nearest flat surface I could work around, and I did it. You need to get started, guys. Like, we can all sit and wait for the perfect equipment and the perfect space and the perfect you know what I mean, set of circumstances, but the fact is I've got this, you know, £1,000 workshop with thousands of pounds worth of tools in it now, and I all started working from a concrete slab. So you know what I mean, and everyone's the same. Like my workshop's not no like Master of the Universe. It's you know what I mean, it's still a small dinky little workshop with okay tools in it. Not, you know, nothing serious. As I mean, there's watch people like Alex Steele and watch millions of pounds worth of stuff he started. You know, if you go back to his first videos, like little workshop, you know what I mean, OSB walls and stuff like that. Look at him now. Like everyone has to start somewhere, but that's the point. You need to start. You need to get started. So yeah, you do what you need to do to get started, and I'll see you next time then, folks. We're going to carry on with these series. I'm going to carry on with R2 in the sort of background. I don't want to keep doing videos of you watching me welding, because I don't think that's massively entertaining. So I'm just going to keep plugging away at R2 in the background. I'll do updates, and then when I do something interesting, we'll do that. We've also got some smaller 1 or 2 day, 1 or 2 part projects coming up, which we're going to put online. I've got a machete I'm going to be restoring. I've got another one I'm going to be making. A couple of lamps and stuff like that made out of old bits of scrap metal. So yeah guys, I'll see you next time. Please like, comment and subscribe, and you have a nice day.